All right, guys. So you'll notice something kind of weird here. I'm starting off with lesson 2. I could have just called it lesson 1, right? But I didn't want to change all my slides and stuff. So we're going to call it lesson 2, and then we'll go back and do lesson 1 later, okay? I'm trying to conserve energy, my energy. I want my carbon footprint to increase here. I mean, every time I type something on the computer, that requires energy from the computer, which takes power. And if you're adding carbon into the world, people are dying. So I'm just trying to save lives, okay? I'm sorry, I'm just being silly. All right, so I'm sitting at my keyboard. I kill you. I kill you. Delete. Okay. Anyway, so we're going to solve some equations today that have square roots and cube roots in them. Okay? That's what we're doing. Before we begin, make sure you guys have your title on there. But this whole chapter is about roots, radical functions, functions with radicals and roots. So I want to make sure you guys understand what a cube root is. I know you guys know what square roots are, right? Like square root of 64? You guys know what the cube root of 64? Okay, so you guys do know what cube roots are. All right. So if you don't know what cube roots are, let's talk about that real quick, just in case some of you guys are lost. So square roots are looking for what number multiplied by itself would give you 64, right? And so the answer is 8 times 8, right? But with a cube root, we're looking for what number multiplied by itself 3 times would give you 64. And the answer is 4. I'm going to try another one real quick. How about, we'll do an easy one here. 2, right? 2 times 2 times 2? 5. Is that you? You know your cube roots. Nice job. 5 times 5 times 5, right? So that's what a cube root is. So make sure you guys are aware of what those are, and we're going to spend a little bit more time on those on Thursday, I think it is. All right. So go ahead and write down this slide, please. We're going to do our first example. All right. So here's my function. It's a square root function. They're asking me to find x when the function equals -4. So I'm going to take my function here, and I'm going to make it equal -4, and then I'm going to solve. Okay? And I bet you guys probably already know how to do this. So I'm going to let you guys walk me through this a little bit. What would you have me do first? You want to minus the 4 first. We did the plug in already. I put it over here. So I'm going to minus the 4 on both sides. Now what? So that number in the front, we're going to divide both sides by a -2. And now this is the one I want to make sure you guys get. You're right, Conacher. How do you get rid of a square root? You square both sides, right? You raise it to the second power. So I'll show my work over here. I'm going to square that and square that. So that and that cancel each other out. So I'm left with x minus 3 equals 16. And that would be 19. Bueno? All right. Can I clear it? All right, let's do another one. That's a cube root this time, so don't miss that little 3 right there, okay? Let's go ahead and do this. So once again, here's my function, and they say find x when the function is -6. So I'm going to take my function, and I'm going to set it equal to -6, and we're going to solve. So what do? Plus 2. So that's going to give me cube root of 2x plus 5 is equal to -4. Now, how do we get rid of a cube root? You cube it. You raise both sides to the third power. Just like a square cancels out a square root, a cube cancels out a cube root. Okay? So that and that go away. And now I've got 2x plus 5 is equal to, what would that be, -64? Let's see. Minus 5 on both sides. 2x is equal to -69. I think you were close there, Conacher. What would that be? 34.5? Okay. Did you say 30 or 34.5? Oh, okay. All right, so there you go. And that's the value of x. So technically, I should be able to take that number, plug it in for x, and after I simplify all this, I should end up with -6. Okay? But do that. The big thing I want you guys to walk away from is basically to get rid of a cube root, you raise it to the third power. Okay? So I'll give you guys a little student practice set, and then we'll call it a day. Let's make sure it works out nice. Just a second. Apparently I can't count. Okay, I'm just going to be mean here on number 3 and make you think a little bit. I might come up with another thinker for you. He's probably right, but let's see. So first we would minus the 7, right? Then we would divide by 5. And then we would square both sides. Yeah, looks good to me. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. Melanie, what was number 2? It was negative cube root of what?
3x plus 1 minus 4.
Root of what?
1.
1. And what was your answer? Negative 42? All right, we were kind of discussing that. We weren't sure if that's right. So let's see what it is. So first time you're going to add 4. And that gives us 5, right? Now, that negative in the front, I would get rid of that first. That's what I would do. Now, you might have still ended up with the right answer anyway if you didn't, but that would be the habit I would encourage you guys to do. Now, how do we get rid of the 3? Raise it to the power of? 3, right? Oops. And so we end up with 3x plus 1 equals negative 125. Minus 1 on both sides. 3x equals negative 126. And I believe if you divide those, you would get 42, negative 42. So, looks good. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. George, morning. You want to copy that? All right. Let's look at the George. What did you get for number 3 before you packed up? 53.5. Let's see if that works. I'm going to get rid of this number 4 for now for space. So here's what I want you guys to catch on this one. Guys, when you square both sides, you have to square that 3 also. Okay? So this is going to be x minus 1 equals 9 and the 4x minus 3. The square cancels out the root, but it also squares the 3, okay? So you're left with 9 parentheses 4x minus 1. So let's see if that's going to give us a good answer. 36x minus 27. I'm going to move this x over here. I'm going to get 35x. I'm going to move the 27 over here, and I'm going to get 26. And then I'm going to divide. So I get 26 over 35. So my guess is that that's probably what got most of you, was not squaring the 3 as well. Because when whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. When you do that to the other side, you do it to the whole side. Okay, so if we square this left side, you have to square the entire right side, including the 3. Okay? All right, guys. Thursday, don't forget, you'll have an extra credit for you waiting